Mahabharat's Indraprastha, Prithviraj Chauhan's Lal Kot, or Shah Jahan's Shahjahanabad, Delhi has been one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities on earth. Rulers came, dynasties fell, the Mughals walled it, the Persians looted it, and the British dismantled it. But Delhi always stood, with its culture, its people, and its history. ये शहर नहीं महफिल है.
But the real gems of Delhi reside within the narrow lanes in the heart of Old Delhi. Today, we are set to uncover the history woven within these streets. From Agrasen Ki Baoli, the deepest well in Delhi built during the time of the Mahabharat, to the twists and turns of Chandni Chowk's legendary streets. Let's go. This is Firoz Shah Kotla, a 14th century fortress built by Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Firoz Shah Tughlaq built the Firoz Shah Kotla fortress around 1354 to establish his new capital city, Firozabad. Positioned along the banks of the Yamuna river, it offered better water access, security, and a space for his new prosperous capital.
At the heart of this complex stands something far older than the fort itself, an Ashokan pillar, dating back to the 3rd century BCE. But bringing it here was no ordinary task. To transport this 50-ton pillar from Topra to Delhi, Firoz Shah Tughlaq ordered the construction of a massive 42-wheel carriage, pulled not by animals, but by 8,400 men.
Carved onto this pillar are 7 edicts of Emperor Ashoka, written in the ancient Brahmi script. The pillar doesn't stand alone. It rests on a 3-story pyramid-like base, each level serving a purpose with 4 land statues on 4 corners. These floors were used for administrative activities, spaces where governance once took place, and at the very top, an astronomical observation point, a place where rulers once looked not just at their empire but beyond it, into the skies.
Hidden within this complex is something even more unusual. Delhi's only circular stepwell. This one was designed as a cooling chamber, a retreat for the Sultan during the intense summer heat. But Firoz Shah Kotla isn't just about history, it is also about belief. Since the 1970s, this place has become known for something unusual, the worship of the jinns. People come here with written petitions, letters addressed not to courts but to spirits, often structured like legal documents.
Firoz Shah Kotla exists in layers, a 14th century fort carrying a 3rd century pillar surrounded by modern day belief. It's a place where engineering meets empire and history meets the unseen.
This is Agrasen Ki Baoli, a structure that doesn't rise above the city but disappears into it. At first glance, it's just a series of steps, but look closer and you realize every level, every arch, every shadow has been carefully designed. These are exactly 108 steps leading down into this Baoli.
The Baoli is structured across 3 distinct levels. Each level is lined with arched niches. Though the Baoli is named after the legendary king Agrasen, the structure we see today tells a different story. Its construction uses Tughlaq-era techniques, rubble masonry bound with lime, dating it back to the late 14th century. And then there's something you can't see, but you can hear. This Baoli is designed like an acoustic void. As you descend, the sounds of the city slowly disappear, but at the very bottom, something unusual happens. A whisper here can travel all the way up. Agrasen Ki Baoli isn't just architecture, it's an experience of silence in a loud city. In the middle of Chandni Chowk's chaos stands Gurudwara Ganj Sahib, a place most people walk past without knowing that it marks a public execution ordered by Aurangzeb in 1675. Today, it looks like just another sacred place, but its foundation is tied to one of the most defining acts of resistance in Indian history. But the real story begins long before the structure you see today.
This Gurudwara is named after Guru Tegh Bahadur, who stood against forced religious conversions when Kashmiri Pandits sought his protection during Aurangzeb's rule. Instead of leading a battle, he issued a direct challenge: "Convert me first and the rest will follow," turning this conflict into a question of principle rather than power. He was arrested, brought to Delhi, and publicly executed in this very market on November 24th, 1675, after refusing to abandon his beliefs. Sis means head, and Sisganj literally marks the place where the sacrifice happened.
What followed is rarely talked about. His body was left here overnight as a warning meant to instill fear in anyone who resisted. But a devotee, Lakhi Shah Banjara, secretly took it away and burned his own house just to cremate the Guru without being caught. That site is now Gurudwara Rakhab Ganj Sahib, making two locations in Delhi through one hidden story of courage. Even inside Sisganj, elements like preserved well quietly trace back to the time of his imprisonment. Just as you move deeper into Old Delhi, the streets begin to narrow and the city starts to feel older. You enter Ballimaran, a place that doesn't just carry history and monuments, but in its lanes, its buildings, and the people still living here. This was once a settlement for boatmen of the Mughal era, and like much of Old Delhi, the identity of the place came directly from the people who lived here.
But Ballimaran wasn't just about trade or settlement for centuries. It was known as the medical heart of Delhi. This was the city of Hakims, practitioners of Unani medicine, a system rooted in Greco-Arab traditions brought to India during the Mughal period. Families of physicians worked out of these very lanes, passing down knowledge across generations.
एक तरतीबे चिरागों की शुरू होती है, एक कुरान सुखान का सफ़ा खुलता है, असादुल्लाह खान गालिब का पता मिलता है.
Mirza Asadullah Beg Khan was born in Agra in 1797. He came to Delhi at age 11 after his father's death, married at 13, and by his late teens was writing under the pen name Ghalib, meaning the conqueror. He lived in Delhi for the rest of his life.
Ghalib never owned this house. He couldn't afford to. It was given to him by a Hakim, who was such a devoted fan of his poetry that he gifted it to him. Ghalib lived here in the final 9 years of his life, 1860 to 1869, and after he died, then the house changed hands many times until a court order in 1997 and a Delhi government acquisition in 1999 turned it into this. Ghalib lived through 1857, the revolt, the British retaking of Delhi. He was a part of this city when it happened, and he wrote about it. Fatehpuri Masjid has never, in its 375 years, stopped being used as a mosque. Not under the Mughal rule, not under the British when it was a warehouse, not during partition, not now. Even when Chunamal owned it, the prayer hall itself was remained untouched. There is an argument that a building which has been continuously used is more alive than any monument. This is not a relic. People are praying here today. From here you can see both the fort and the mosque. Shah Jahan designed it that way. You were always supposed to be able to see both, the temporal power and the sacred one, looking at each other down the same street. Fatehpuri Masjid was built in 1650 by a woman who came from the city named Fatehpur and who built this building after herself in the street that her stepdaughter has designed. It was built as the sacred counterweight to imperial power at the other end of the road.
It survived a revolt, a British auction, 20 years as a textile warehouse, and a trade of 4 villages. It was returned to its community in 1877 and has been in continuous use ever since. Fatehpuri Masjid survived because of luck and because of a complicated man with a warehouse and a business sense. It also survived because it kept being used. There is no museum curation keeping it alive. There are students reading in its arcades right now. Someone prayed there an hour ago. Someone will be there for a Fajr tomorrow before the rest of the city wakes up.
A place where the air is thick, the colors are louder, and every step brings you closer to centuries of trade. But Khari Baoli wasn't always this vibrant. Its story begins in 1551 with the construction of a step well, a Baoli. According to historical texts like Tarikh-e-Sher Shahi, the water here was so khari, so salty, that it was undrinkable. And because of this saline failure, the space never developed as a residential or drinking hub. Instead, it adapted, becoming a site for animal trade and salt storage.
Over time, trade transformed this limitation into strength. What began as a workaround evolved into one of the most important commercial hubs of the subcontinent. Today, Khari Baoli holds an official title, Asia's largest wholesale spice market. From here, spices travel not just across India but across the world, contributing to nearly 60% of India's spice exports.
But beyond the trade, what truly defines Khari Baoli is continuity. Some of these shops have been here for centuries. Records show that families here have been running the same business for over 300 years, passing them down generation after generation since the reign of Aurangzeb. And maybe that's what makes this place unforgettable. It's not just a market, it's a system built on adaptation, where even failure like salty water was turned into opportunity. Their family became institutions and vyapar became virasat.
The heart of Old Delhi, preserved within the twists and turns of these streets. A piece of history which could never be found in museums, but can be seen through the rickshaw on the streets. Taking inspiration from Ghalib, we want to leave you with this little anecdote.
थी ये शहंशाहों की दिल्ली, केवटों की दिल्ली, अग्रसेन की बावली में प्यार ढूंढती दिल्ली, बहादुरों की दिल्ली, मोतियों की दिल्ली, गालिब के लफ्ज़ों में लिखी हुई एक परछाई सी दिल्ली, ना मस्जिद में पढ़ी, ना अशोक के स्तंभ में गड़ी, ये लोगों के दिलों में तराशी हुई दिल्ली। यहाँ प्यास है ना सांस है, मगर इस दिल्ली में कुछ तो खास है। अनसुनी अनकही हम दिल वालों की दिल्ली।